Hello folks and welcome. Linux Mint 22.1 Cinnamon. This video is made for medium to advanced users. I'm going to be talking about cron jobs or cron tabs and also script files. And this script file can be used all by itself with auto logins, and it will also do cleanup of backups. So that's one of the things I'm going to be using with cron tabs today, cron job. This does auto deletions also if you're interested. If you're learning about cron or cron jobs or a little bit about script files, you might find this interesting to watch. I would plan for probably a 30-minute window or so, and I would highly recommend subscription. Welcome. So a little bad pun, let's have a whale of a time. I have well over 500 videos on all kinds of subject matter. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've done any videos due to some family health issues. Anyways, last video that I did was I created web-based icons, so I'll be using these also. So cron jobs can be ran every minute, and this is perfectly doable time frames for most home users, maybe not so much on these, and I'll get into why and why not a little bit later. So I will start with Sam is our user. Sam is a made-up name, and Sam would like to make backups of his current visible folders, not hidden. Okay, and he's going to be placing those in that red folder called backups. All right, I'm going to use Control N as in Nancy to pop two boxes up for you. So generally, we store our script files somewhere. I decided to store a script file in a hidden folder. So I will right-click and show hidden. I stuck this one in .local. You can put yours wherever you want. I created a folder called back, and this is the script file called backuptar.sh. You can see how big it is. And script files are written with a text editor for you new folks, allowing that to be ran as a program. So the text editor for Mint, generally when you open these up, is Xed. I'll also be showing Nano when you're dealing with cron jobs, and I'm going to be using Kate also to do highlighting. Kate I like because of the highlighting purposes. This is also a text editor. That's the complete script. It's not proprietary. You're welcome to copy it. Just do a screenshot at any time. Pause, screenshot. So let me point out the reason I like Cake, because it highlights similar objects. All right, so all the ones that are in yellow are generally comments, with the exception of line 1. Line 1 says not only the symbol, but exclamation point / bin sh. Now sh in Mint is actually dash. But you can use born again shell, which is bash if you like. I know that's all kind of rhyming if you're kind of new to shell scripts. So generally line 3 and below with that symbol are just comments. They're explaining things. So this is a backup compressed tar script file with auto deletions. That's on line 21, and I will explain how that works. All of this actually. So whether you write this in sh or bash, it doesn't matter. You can use it with cron jobs or cron tabs. You can also just use it as a startup script, all by its lonesome. So it's going to be making backups of the user home directory or folder. So why did I use line 10 with this date code on it? Because we're going to use that as part of the name of the actual backup file. So everything in here will start with sam-something. So picking on this file here, which is currently being remade every 2 minutes, that's excessive, yes, but I did it for a reason. There's a cron job running replacing this file every 2 minutes. I'll let you see the timestamp. 10:58 was done 1 minute ago. So sam-21-02 2025. It will not create a new one until tomorrow. That's why I'm using that. If you want to add plus %i or %m for minutes and hours, you can do that, and it creates an excessive amount of these. I'm trying to keep these manageable to 4 or 5. All right, so in either case, let me move on to line 11, which is backup_dir. I'm going to be using that twice in the script file. It's the complete path of where these are going to be stored, and also a complete path of where they're going to be maintained, also with deletions. So that's why I didn't put a tilde there. I put the complete path. Our user for today is Sam. It's just a made-up name. So this is where they're going to be maintained, and also it will have auto deletions on line 21. So line 14 explains what that line 16 is. It's used to it's a compressed tar backup of the user's home folder without copying the backup folder and also hidden files. So we don't want to make backups of the backups. In other words, they become enormous when you do silly stuff like that. So let me explain what this does, and then we'll move on from there. So tape archive is tar. Tar has been around since the Unix days, like me. I put in a space after that and a -ZCVPF. Those are just options. The $ backup dir is just a reference point to our path. In this case, Sam is our user backup folder. Then I put in a /, and this part is the actual file name. So it puts Sam in front of all of these, and then the dash and the date code gets the timestamp from your system. So every day this will change from day, month, and year. That's what we have here. In the US, they may throw you off. So that's 21st is today, February. If you want to do it the other way, then you just transpose these two. All right, so that's how it's creating the file name. But it has exclusions on it. So anytime you see -- exclude, that means it's not copying something. So in this case, I do -- exclude equals quote, the full path is home Sam backup. I don't want this folder to be included because that would be redundant and make this really huge after a while because it keeps adding all of these up. So we don't want that, in other words. Then I have a very special exclusion here. So I've shown this one before on my rsync script files. That would be remote sync. It's similar to timeshift. Timeshift uses also rsync, but it's generally not copying your personal files. So we're excluding all the hidden ones. That would be -- exclude equals quote period star. The dot meaning the hidden files. So that's a very special exclusion. So let me point this out to you. So Sam just wants these guys minus the red folder. Now, if Sam decided not to use that command, this is what Sam would be copying. 5.7 gigabytes instead of 648 megabytes. All right. So some of these were done with different files, and that's why they're different sizes. So, we add and delete files constantly. So we're excluding the hidden. Now, if you'd like to have those hidden files, just be prepared for enormous backups. But you can certainly leave that off if you like. So I also put on the tail end the actual beginning. So we're making copies of Sam's home folder, excluding the hidden, excluding the backup folder. And we're creating a tar file called sam- with the date code on it at tar.gz. That's all this is. If I confused you, I certainly didn't mean to, but there is a space after tar, there's a space after the pf part, and then there's a space right here after the tar.gz, then the -- excludes, full quote here on both the name of the folder and put a space there also. And then a second exclusion, don't forget the space there. And again, defining what you're copying. I'm defining that we are copying Sam's home folder here with the exclusions of no hidden and no backup folder. Because again, we don't need to make backups of the backups. Then it processes the file to line 19, which is used to do what again? It's used to describe things. These are just comments. So the line below is used to delete files that are older than 4 days based on mtime. Mtime is the time stamp that these things have on them. So that one was done on the 20th and at 7:05 p.m. This current one here, though, is being replaced every 2 minutes. The current time is 11:04, which is 1 minute ago. It's got a different timestamp than when I opened this a couple of minutes ago, because I have cron running in the background while I'm explaining this file. So basically the last statement or the last process before it ends, it is going to find the backup underscore dir, which is the complete path, which is this folder, and look at all the files in it, because it's a star, to check the timestamp using -mtime. In other words, take a look at these things. If it exceeds 4 days, then it will run an execute removal command to remove that backup if it is older than 4 days. Whenever you are copying people's script files, also make sure you have the correct spacing and the correct commands if you're going to try to emulate things on your machine. So I'm giving you a chance to look at this up close. So there's a space here, there's a space here, there's a space here, 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 no spaces in between those two symbols, space here. This is a backslash as opposed to a forward slash. Pay attention to those. And this is a semicolon, not a colon. And that is your removals. The other thing that's a beauty, if you don't want to remove these at all and you would just want to collect them and remove them yourself, all you do is that and hit save. When you rerun the script file, it will not delete anything. Now it will. That's the beauty of using these little symbols. We use it to describe things, and we also use it to stop things from performing certain things. All right, now I'm going to close and discard. So this script file is currently being processed by Cron. Cron tab Guru is one place you can go to get schedules like this. To understand them, I'll explain what Cron does. So when your computer is running based on whatever time schedules, you can have it process a job in hour, minute, day of month, month, day of week. 5 elements if you want to call it that. I have one currently set for every 2 minutes, replacing that file right here, currently. Last one was 11:06, so it should be processing another one here any second. But more importantly, it takes in the time of seconds and minutes. So every second minute is what this is going to be doing. So if I wait long enough, this is now currently processed. 11:08, 11:08 is my clock down here. So it just processed that file based on this increment. These are time elements. Your computer has to be running to process all of them. So if you're running a server, for instance, all of these are absolutely doable if you're doing 24/7. If you're a home user, some of these maybe not so much. But a lot of these are very doable for home use. But if you're going to do every day and daily, which is the same command, this happens at midnight. If your computer is not on at midnight, it won't run this job with Cron. So you would have to use something different. Systemd timers, and Cron, something different. Okay, but these are perfectly doable if you want to do backups in 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. So these are schedules. So now let me open up what does the magic using terminal. And unfortunately, you need to use terminal for this. Okay, because basically it runs through terminal as far as programming is concerned. So I'm going to use CRONTAB, cron tab space -e as an echo. And what that's going to do is open up Nano, the text editor on this system for Mint. It's just another text editor, but I will show you how to run this. So Nano has a couple of colors displayed here currently, is the line on the top is the one that's being currently processed in 2-minute increments to replace this backup. I didn't mean to double click it, I meant to right click on it. So 11:08 was the last process. It should be processing another one here. There it is right there. So it should have a new timestamp of 11:10. Right now it's 11:10. All right, this is excessive, and this is abusive actually. So this part I can't help you with, but whatever your file is located. My script file is located right here. I'll toggle the entry. It is /home/sam/.local hidden folder, .back, and the name of the file. So you can see it, the path is right here. This part is wherever yours is. This part is the timer. So generally we have 5 elements of time that we're dealing with cron tabs. All right, let me click the every minute. It's the first thing in line. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 asterisks here. That would be minute, hour, day, month, day. So this is every minute it's going to process this. And you can see that that's not what it's doing. But there's still 5 stars here. 1 is blinking. Then it has this divide or /2. And then the second one, third, fourth, and fifth one. It's still 5 pieces of information. I'm going to show you a piece of magic. 2 weeks ago, I did a video on web-based icons. I haven't done any videos for the last 2 weeks because I've been dealing with health issues for the family. However, I created a web-based icons that I can confirm what that is. And you can also just bookmark this if you like. Go to crontab.cronhub.io. Okay. This is what that looks like when I scroll it back. So there are 5 elements here. If you want to think about it, if you're just wanting to do every minute. If you change that to every hour, you put a 0 and then 4 of those stars. If you want to do that at the magic hour, the witching hour of midnight, then that would be 2 zeros and 3 stars. Just remember it has to be on at the time that you're doing this. But I'm going to take that and replace this information here from what I just copied every 2 minutes. What I did was I highlighted this, right-clicked and copied that, and pasted that in that field to verify the time frames. I've heard way too many stories. Well, when I try to program this in, it doesn't work. Well, this is a nice way to verify that it is working and what it is. So would I generally recommend 2 minutes on a home computer to do this with? Absolutely not. I'm doing this just for the example of showing you how often this file is being changed. It was done 1 minute ago. So this is generally what you'll see on these files. So I'll put one of those in front of that */2. Now, if I save this file, it won't process. So let me complete that. So this is Nano, the text editor. So let's get used to at least a couple of 2 terms. So if you look at the bottom corner where it says exit on it, that's Control and X. Hold down your Control key and hit X. But we haven't saved the file yet. So to save the file, we call it write out with Nano. That would be Control O, not 0, O. So I'll do that. Control, hold it down in O. It says file name to write, and just leave the default and hit enter. It says wrote 25 lines. I don't recommend that you do this. I recommend that you use Control and X to get out, just to see if there's any errors. It says installing new cron tab. That's what you want to see. If you want to reconfirm that, use your upper arrow key on your keyboard to type that back in. Now it's not running that anymore every 2 minutes. I'm going to remove that symbol again. And then I'm going to do the write out one more time. Control O and hit enter. And hit Control X. Installing new cron tab. What if you made a mistake? Well, I will create a mistake. I'm going to put an extra one of those stars in there just to have a little fun. And I'll put in a space. Now there's too many of those in there. As soon as I use Control and O, it will allow you to try to save that. And as soon as you use Control and X, it'll tell you you got an error. Unless you closed it manually. Then it just reverts back to your old file. So right now it's telling me I have a bad command. I cannot install this file. If I answer no, it goes back to my old setting. If I answer yes, then it goes back and allows me to edit that stuff. It doesn't tell me where the error is though. But one of the things that I will try to convey to you is you have 5 elements here. That is your timestamp. That would be minute, hour, day, month, day of week. You can't have more than that. Otherwise, this is not formatted properly. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these stars. I can delete the front one or the back one. It doesn't matter. But I want to do the front one because I want it to go back to 2 minutes. What happens when I leave that and delete the other one? Okay, we'll get rid of that extra space. What is this now? Well, this is a little different. Every minute, every 2 hours. So that's not what I want for every 2 hours. So it all depends on how you format these things. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the front one this time. So it'll go back to the 2-minute mark. And I need one more of those stars. So if I leave it this way and do a Control Out, save in other words, enter, Control X, I have a problem. I didn't format that correctly. I'm going to do a yes. I'm going to fix that. 1 star, 2 stars, 3, 4. There's a 5th one missing. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit delete, but anyways. Space. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. All right, so that's 4 5 stars and a space. Control and O, enter. Control X. The last command is installing new cron tab. Do I want to verify that? Sure. Let's find out what the time frame is on this using that new toy or website. Again, you could just make bookmarks. I'm just using a web-based icon for this. It's easier for me while I'm filming. Every 2 minutes. But one more time I'm going to discuss replacing this file every 2 minutes is ridiculous for a home machine. Okay, you can just see that it updated. So what is more doable on a home user? Well, I wouldn't stick with the 2-minute mark if you're doing copies of backups. Maybe some other jobs, but not this job. We're doing backups here, folks. That's what we're doing, that backup tar. What is more reasonable with that? Well, maybe 30 minutes would be still unreasonable, but it's doable. Every hour maybe, if you're working with a lot of files. Or maybe even 3 hours. So you can see the different timestamps that you can plug into your cron tab, that you can make these things work. And so, you know, that kind of stuff. If you feel more comfortable, I would probably just, you know, line these things up. If you're using Cron Tab Guru, for instance, and you want to do this every 3 hours, then just follow this format. So I'm going to put in a 0, space, and I'll leave that star 2 and just change that to a 3. And then eliminate the 2. And then I need 3 stars, not 4. So I would probably end up deleting one of these. And I'm going to remove the space out of there. So it's formatted properly. So it's 0 space star /3 and star space. And now I'm going to write it out or save it. Control, hold it down in O and hit that. Row 25 line. Again, don't put the X in the corner. Use the Control X to verify your file. and it is installing new cron tab. Open this back up to confirm it, and I will use my new toy to conform that statement here with that new web icon that I created to confirm the time frames. All right, 0 minutes past the hour every 3 hours is probably more reasonable. But if that is too long for you, then adjust the time. So now it'll be doing that every 3 hours automatically if you're logged in long enough. Keep in mind, cron is something when you're running, not when you're not running. So that's why I mentioned that if you're not running 24/7, that some of these schedules you may not want to use. But these are doable as long as you're logged in. Well, let's say you don't want to use this now. You would just want to use the regular script file. Let's do that. I'm going to put a pound symbol in front of that. So I will, sorry, I meant to do it over here. So there we go. I just highlighted the line numbers. So I'm going to use Control O and enter and exit, install a new cron tab. Let's verify that it's turned off, and it is. It's the same color as the other lines, so I know it's not processing that anymore. Now let's just deal with this file running it all by its lonesome. So the last time stamp on this was done 11:18, which is a couple of minutes ago. This will not change. So I'm going to the settings here, and we're going to talk about startup applications. So anytime you have this open, whatever is slid on will run at login. So login would be if you log out and log in, shut down, restart, log back in, restart, and log back in. All you got to do is remember when you put in your password, it's going to process these. So I will delete that on purpose. So generally everything that is on is processed during login. Easiest one to remember is the update manager. It has a 20-second delay, and that's why that icon appears a couple seconds later. It generally doesn't check immediately. It's based on these schedules right here. So generally after 10 minutes, it's going to refresh your updates and whatever this is set for. All right, let's create a new one though. Custom command. And I'll put that in the center. So give it a name. So tar compressed backup is what I'm going to call mine. And I'm going to find that script file that is currently hidden. Now, generally, you don't have hidden showing when you open this up for the first time. So it's your username and whatever folders. If you have a regular computer mouse like I have, you can right-click and click on Show Hidden. Or if you have a touchpad, maybe you want to use Control-H might be better for you, if they're hidden. All right, mine is sitting in .local, in other words, a hidden folder called back, and there's my script file called backup.tar, backuptar.sh, the file that I've been playing with this whole video. All right, and this does what again? It does auto delete 4 days. That's just for me. Comments are optional. Do I need a startup delay? Probably not. So generally after you do this, this turns on. It doesn't mean you need to have it on. But when this is on and you log out and log back in, it creates a new one based on the script file that I just have. My script file says to create a new one of these with today's date on it. It does not say replace it with some other name. It says today's date. So this means that every time I log out, either right now or if I shut down the computer and come back 3 hours later and turn it back on and log in, it'll still create that with the same date on it. Today. Tomorrow is a different animal. Tomorrow it'll create another one of these when I log in tomorrow, because that's the way I wrote the script file. If you want a whole bunch of these files, then you can add to your script file the hour and the minute. I will warn you though, you will end up with a whole bunch of these that you will have to clean up eventually. but I only want one of these. And I'm not doing this with Cron. I'm doing this manually. So every time I log in, it creates a new one. Every time I log out and log back in, it creates a new one. I can also choose to turn that off where it doesn't create a new one every time I log in and only do it manually. Whether you highlight this thing now or later, it doesn't matter. But as soon as you open this up, click that and hit the play button, it creates a new one. I will prove that to you. Timestamp on that one is 11:18, right? I'm going to hit the play button and just make sure it's highlighted first. It is off, but I'm going to hit a new one anyways. And I'll do a refresh so you can see the file being made. You can also use the reload button. So when this thing gets done, it'll have the current timestamp of the minute. I'm still waiting for it to finish. It looks like it's done. So let's look at the stamp on this. 11:26, 11:26. When this is on, it recreates this on login every time. And if it's tomorrow, then it creates another one. At the same time, the script file is checking to see how old these are. And if it finds one that's 4 days old, it gets rid of it. So whether this is on or off, it doesn't matter. You can hit the play button at any time. So let's say you've been working for 4 hours and you're concerned about only making a backup during login, but you wanted this refreshed. Open up your settings and hit the play button. It will refresh that. I will actually prove it to you this time by just showing you how it will recreate the complete file. Okay, just have to have it selected first when you hit the Run Now button, and you can see it being created. Okay, I'll wait until it's finished. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just refreshing until it's finished so I can give you the timestamp on it. Okay, 11:27. So the script file again is hidden, and I can edit this at any time. And just using, this is Xed this time, and the general editor. So if I wanted more of these, I would just change that to, let's say, 5 or 6 or 7. Then it'll have more of those for you to keep if you don't want 4. Generally, when this is set for +4, this will either have 4 or 5 of these depending on the last backup, but it won't have 6. So 4 or 5. If you reduce that number from +2, you'll have 2 or 3 depending on when it backed up, but not 4, because it'll delete that other one when the time exceeds on those things. So if you're running on short on disk space, just remember this. If you're using time shift, I'm going to show you this. I'll open this up manually. Time shift does the same thing. It only keeps 5 based on the schedule here. This is the same principle, but this is using rsync. This is using tar, but it's the same process. This is keeping 5. I can reduce that to 4 also, or increase that to 7. I can do the same thing with the script file. And again, this is using rsync. And generally that is not making backups of your personal files under default conditions. All right, so you can also add the time stamps of hour and minute if you want to see extra files in here. Just be cautious of doing that, especially if you've got cron running in minute increments. It will fill this up rather quickly. I prefer this method because I only have 1 file per day, even though it keeps replacing it. And I certainly don't do that in increments of 2 minutes. If I'm going to use cron on a home computer, I would certainly not use, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I would certainly use something maybe better than 30 minutes if I'm doing backups. Maybe an hour, 2, 3, are perfectly doable on a home computer. If the computer is not on 24/7, I would rethink using any of these commands. All right, now I'm going to pull that down and close and say thank you for watching.